Hey, my savvies, how y'all doing? Today we're talking about anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety in 2020, June of 2020, I'm sorry. I was working at the hospital at the time doing security. I would go through a different period of feeling like something's wrong. I would get the shakes. I would have the sense of scared. I would be scared all the time. So one day I'm at work and this was early morning. You get the feeling where you feel like you're about to pass out. It feel like everything is you can't focus. That's what it feels like. You can't focus on one thing. So I just wasn't feeling well. I wasn't feeling right. I was feeling so bad that the room started feeling like it was closing in on me. I feel a sense of heat in my body. My whole body just filled up with heat. And now I'm looking around and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. So I bang on the window because this time I'm panicking because I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that I have to remove myself from this space. So I started banging on the window and I said, you know, I have to go to the bathroom. But when he looked at me, I guess he could see it in my face that I wasn't okay. And in my head, I'm like, don't let anyone see that you're not okay. Get to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I start calling people on my phone because I'm like, I need to figure out what's happening with me and why I'm feeling this way. I call my sister, I call my mom, I call my aunt, I call everybody this day. And I just felt like at that second, no one answered the phone. Not that they were being smart or anything. I just think that maybe it just, you know, everybody's just not there to wait for you to call them. You know, it just doesn't happen. I started panicking more because I'm like, okay, I can't get in touch with anybody and I need to figure out what's wrong with me right now. And I finally decided, I don't know how I came about calling my, we call it the command center. It's basically our hub. That's basically what it is inside the hospital. So I called the command center and I'm telling the guy at the front desk, I said, Jelly, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm in the bathroom. I'm by the trauma bay and I feel like I'm fading, I'm dying. I feel like something is wrong with me. I feel like the room is closing in and I don't know what to do. So he was like, Savoya, you know, I'll call someone for you. Give me a second, I'll call you back. He never called back, y'all. So at this time, I'm pacing in the bathroom, I'm back and forth, back and forth. I'm at the mirror because I'm looking at myself like, do you see anything physically? What's going on? Are you having a stroke? What's happening to you? I come back and I say to myself, I'm still feeling like I want to pass out. So I back up to the wall and I lean against the wall, put my head on the back of the wall. And I just said to myself, like, you know, if you're going to pass out, lean against the wall because I don't want you to fall and hit your head or anything. Then nobody will ever find you. I'm going through my emotions at this moment. At this moment, I sit on the floor. I can only tell you guys what I remember because in that moment, a lot is going on. You have a lot of adrenaline pumping. And I'm on the floor. I sit straight down. I got my feet flat out. I got my hands out. And I'm putting my hands on my legs. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like thinking, I'm like, something is wrong. I can't figure it out. So now I start crying because in my head, I don't have any help. No one's coming to get me. I'm just sitting here. And now my hands and my legs start to lock up. I'm observing myself the whole time, just looking at what's happening and thinking of what to do next. My hands, I was already looking at my hands, but my hands were stuck like this. And my legs were stuck. Like I wasn't able to bend them at this point. So now I'm still crying. I can't breathe because I'm hyperventilating now at this point. Because I'm panicking. I'm panicking because I'm like, what's happening? Why don't I have help? I don't know how long I was sitting in that bathroom, but it felt like forever. It felt like I didn't have any help. Then Jelly called back. And Jelly said, Savoya, I'm sorry. We had a GSW. I had to get to it, and I wasn't able to call you back. Are you okay? Now, when he called me, the phone rung, and that's how I knew my hands were locked up. Because at first, I was looking at my hands, and they looked like they were just like this, but they were like kind of pale a little bit. But they were down. They weren't as bad. I was still able to move them, but just like, I didn't know if because of me shaking, and I just was like, my hands was moving like this, really. So when I went to go pick the phone up, I could not move my hands to pick the phone up, to answer the phone. So I hit the phone like, Jelly, hello. I was like, Jelly, I can't move my hands. And so now he like, Savoya, calm down. He said, you're having a panic attack. in that moment, I remembered the area I was in, and I said, I'm in the bathroom, I'm about to trauma bay. But I hear people knocking on the door, and someone said, Savoya, this is me. And she mentioned her name. And I was like, please help me, help me, help me. She was like, I'm trying to help you. I need you to open the door. And I was like, I can't move my hands. I can't move anything. So at this point, I'm panicking even more because I can't get them to get in the bathroom because I locked the door when I came in. So I'm in the corner the whole time. So the door is probably a good enough space between the two. I hear radios. So now I feel a little bit of comfortability. I don't know what was happening in that moment where I just didn't feel safe around anyone. I just knew that the person that I called, I wanted to come, and no one else. And Jelly couldn't get there. So Jelly was like, Savoya, I'll stay on the phone with you the whole time. I can't leave the desk because I'm the only one here right now. All of these different things are going through my head. I don't know. Like I said, I was scared of the people, so I just didn't know if they were coming to get me or coming to help me. I didn't know. So I didn't know how to put it together and wrap my mind around everything that was happening. Eventually, a nurse came to the door and she said, Savoya, I need you to listen to what I'm saying to you. She said, open the door. And I'm like, I can't open the door. My hands and feet don't move. I can't stand up. And now I'm getting frustrated because I felt like nobody understood what I was saying, or I didn't even understand what I was saying. And she said, okay. She said, see if you can scoot your butt over. Because now I'm hearing her voice. I know her voice now, and I'm picturing her face. So now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. I start inching toward the door. And she said to me, lift your arm up. She said, can you lift your arm? And I was like, yes, I can lift my arm. And she said, lift your arm up, put it on the door, and like let your weight bring the door down. Because the way the doors was, it wasn't like a handle where you twist. It was one of them hook handles where if you twist it, it'll unlock and you can open it. Now my arms are starting to lock up. So now I can't lift my arms. And now I'm crying like crazy because I'm like, something is happening. I can't even like lift up. And I guess she was just trying to make me move my limbs so that I can get, oxygen flowing. So at this moment, I don't know what's happening. And they're like, Savoya, we're going to have to admit you in the hospital because you're having a panic attack and you're too far gone. And I'm like, I don't have panic attacks. I don't even know what that is. I don't know why I couldn't figure nothing out at this moment, but I was going through it. We need you to get up or we're going to try to help you up. And literally, first the nurse was like, we're going to have to pick her up because once you're in this state, it's really hard to get out of it until we can calm her down. So she's talking to them through what's happening with me. And I don't know, like in one part of my brain, I'm listening to everything that she said. So I know what the nurse said. I have no clue as to what else happened really around me. You to try to stand up on your legs. And when she tried to move it, it wouldn't move. And she was like, okay, we're going to have to lift her up. So everybody lifted me up onto the wheelchair. The moment I got out the bathroom door, I started panicking more. I just felt a fear of everybody watching me, looking at me, and me being embarrassed as to what was happening to me. And she was like, okay. She was like, calm down. We're going to put a blanket over top of you. We'll push you to the back of the hospital. I'll call over. I'll get your room ready so we can put you right in the room. They put the blanket over my head. We're rolling through wherever. I don't know. I had a blanket over my head. My coworkers were there. A lot of the other security officers were there. That's what I'm trying to say. And it felt so good to have so much of the love. But I honestly felt like, y'all, I'm sorry I let y'all down. Because I worked there so long and I was good at the job, a lot of times they would ask me for advice. The doctor just was like, you're having a panic attack. We're going to have to give you medication to calm you down. So I'm like, why can't I move? Why isn't anything moving? And that's what he said. He said, yes. So having a panic attack, you start to hyperventilate, you start to lose oxygen. So therefore your oxygen is not flowing. So you don't have enough blood flow and your limbs start to lock up. That's where that comes from. I had to sit there for a while because I wasn't calming down. They had to give me medicine like 3 times. Usually the medicine, you get the medicine and it'll calm you down within about like 30 minutes or sometimes faster. But I wasn't calming down within enough time. So they give it to me again. And then I wasn't calming down again. They give it to me. They give me some more. My sister ended up calling back. My sister, she ended up calling back. And when she called back, when I say everything felt like I was still going through it, but I wasn't panicking as much as I was before. This was in the pandemic, of course. And my sister came up and I felt a sigh of relief. I didn't calm down right away after the third dose of medication, but once my sister came, I calmed down. And I just felt like, I was like, Chanel, is this my life for real now? Like, I was filled with so much anxiety and fear, because I'm like, I'm always embarrassed when this is happening. Like, this was an embarrassing moment for me. People saw me vulnerable. People saw me crying. People saw me down, and I couldn't work it out. And I didn't know how to deal with that. Who knew that anxiety just show up in your life like that? You don't even know what's happening, and it just come and take over you. It's a really bad experience, but the discovery of my anxiety and finding out that I suffer from anxiety. All of these times I thought that I just, I woke up too early. I jumped out of bed too fast. I ended up going back to the hospital with a doctor, because I went, I'm like, wait, that first encounter, then next after that is when it started happening a little bit more. To the doctor, and she tells me, I'm going to have to put you on a medication daily. So the medication that they put me on was called Lexapro. It's called Lexapro. Lexapro is a medication that I had to take every single day for my anxiety, to help control my anxiety. And every time that I have a panic attack, I still have to take Ativan. And she was like, it may not be what you physically see or know in the moment. It could be things that's coming up that from your past that you unconsciously let out, or something brought it out of you, that you're going through these motions right now. And when she explained that to me, I'm like, okay, my past was crazy. So I can definitely understand why my past would be coming back. But now I'm trying to figure out what triggered it. He was like, and you're not okay. He said, so you have to get yourself together. And I'm listening to him, but what I am getting out of the conversation, that's why they always say you have to listen to comprehend and not listen to respond. Because the whole time I was responding. I didn't hear nothing that he said as far as getting myself together. I heard it, but it went in one ear and out the other. Because in my head, I'm like, I need to work. I am the sole provider for my children. If I don't work, then there's no money coming in. So the whole time he's talking to me, it passed by me that he said, today is going to be your last day. You're going to go home and we're going to put you on a medical leave. So I'm like, okay. He was like, we're going to send you home today.